What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Sabrina Talks. Now, today we're going to be talking about TikTok. Now, we're not going to be talking about the problematicness of TikTok with its racism and stealing people's dances. And no, we're not talking about that today. What we are going to be talking about is TikTok's relationship with artists and their record labels. So before we jump into anything, let's first discuss what even is TikTok. Now, this is for my older folks who are like 35 and up and are like, my kids keep talking about TikTok. They keep talking about they want to be in a TikTok and always on TikTok. What is TikTok? Well, let me tell you. TikTok is a social media site that specializes in short videos. So, like videos from 15 seconds to I think about 60 seconds at the max. I consider TikTok to be kind of like a combination of YouTube and, if you guys remember, Vine. Now, Vine was, an app that you could do 6 second videos on. That used to be really, really popular. It's like Vine because your videos are such a short clip of time. And then it's like YouTube because there's a vast amount of niches on TikTok. Just like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, there's a feed on TikTok where you can scroll through. Now, this feed is like a constant supply of just videos. And the more videos that you like and comment and share and interact with, the better your For You page would be because it curates it to all the things that you like. So if you're scrolling through TikTok and you only really like videos of somebody cooking or teaching you how to cook, once the algorithm or machine, robot, whatever it is, once that starts recognizing the pattern of things that you interact with, it'll showcase you things that it believes that you will like based on all of the videos that you watch and interacted with. When TikTok was first out, it was completely run by, I want to say, Gen Z kids. So those are kids who were born in like the 2000s to 2010s. I want to say those are like Gen Z kids who kind of took over TikTok. Now, with the whole quarantine situation, whole working from home, a lot of people are joining TikTok. So the demographics feature a wider age range than it used to be, because I know when TikTok came out, I was like, this seemed like an app for kids. I don't think that's for me. Like, especially like people who are older than me were like, yeah, this seems like this is only for kids. I shouldn't even be on here. I don't want to be the one, 40-year-old on here with a bunch of 10-year-olds. Like, but nowadays, I mean, there's a vast variety of people. There's parents with their kids, there's teenagers, there's like people my age, people in their 20s and 30s. They're all on TikTok now because during this time people are stressed, people are bored. So what is there to do? Go on TikTok and look at people being stupid. TikTok used to be the app called Musical.ly. Now, Musical.ly was a lip syncing app where people would go on and like dance along and sing along to various songs in, various different ways. But I guess that was starting to die out. So a Chinese company called ByteDance bought Musical.ly and then changed the name and took it over and just changed it to TikTok. So they took all of the users that were on Musical.ly and migrated them onto TikTok. So that way when the app launched, it already kind of had a following and users on there. TikTok's acquisition of Musical.ly benefits them in a way that I'll talk about later. But since they were able to do that, they kind of took the idea of Musical.ly and kind of bumped it up a bit to where, there's still people on TikTok nowadays who are lip syncing and dancing along to songs, but now there's like comedy sketches and it's not so focused on just the music, whereas Musical.ly was obviously music. So now that we have talked about what TikTok is, now let's talk about one of the major aspects to making a TikTok, which is the sound. So when making a TikTok, your sounds can either be your own audio, meaning your script of whatever video that you're doing, the audio of another previous TikTok, or it can be music. Now I'm going to talk about music because that's the only part that I care about, truthfully. So so as someone who got her degree in music business, when TikTok first came out, I was like, how is this working? Because, all the hottest songs were like blowing up on TikTok. And I was like, I don't see how TikTok is surviving if they're letting users upload their own music onto it, like in a way where like a choreography video on Instagram is uploaded there. I didn't see how they were getting away with that, because with the way Instagram and YouTube be quick to copyright someone's video because it features music in it, I didn't see how TikTok were surviving, because obviously people were doing dances, people were using songs in the background of their videos, and I was like, how is this working without all of the legal issues? So, of course, me being the nerd that I am, went onto the music business websites that I know, and I was trying to figure it out, but no one was really talking about it. I went on YouTube and no one was really talking about it. And so I just I brushed it off, I forgot about it for a little bit. And it wasn't until I think maybe the beginning of this year that I started seeing a little bit of articles talking about it. So I decided, since I don't see nobody else on YouTube talking about it, I'm gonna be the one to talk about it. So in order to understand how TikTok's able to do this, we gotta kind of understand the music business just a tiny bit. I'm not gonna give you a whole lecture, because it's been years since I've been out of college. I can't do that. The most important thing to know is, with each song, there are two types of rights that each song will have. They'll have the master rights and they'll have composition rights. Let's first talk about composition rights. So composition rights are the rights that you have as a songwriter for creating the lyrics, melody, harmony, all of that good stuff of the song, essentially making the song. Composition rights are usually associated with songwriters and associated with music publishing companies. Music publishing companies are designed to make sure that whatever royalties are owed to songwriters get to the songwriters. Master rights are rights of the song once it's recorded. Once the artist goes to the studio and records the song, that now has master rights. Master rights are given to the artist who performs the song onto the sound recording. Usually, since record labels are the people who are sending artists to studios, they are going to get a cut out of the master rights. So depending on the contract that the artist has, the record label will get a percentage of their master rights. Both master rights and composition rights will allow artists and songwriters to be able to get royalties off of their music. This is important to TikTok because they need to give out a licensing deal for the master rights and a licensing deal for the composition rights. Now, licensing deals are deals in which two parties sign a contract that states the person who wants access to the intellectual property will have to pay like an annual fee to the rights holder of said intellectual property in order for them to be able to use it. So from what I currently have researched from like Billboard and other music websites like that, it seems that TikTok has a deal with Warner Music Group, Sony Music, and Universal Music Group, which are like the big labels. Along with this deal, they have deals with their Magic Publishing side. So Sony ATV is Sony Music's publishing group, and Warner Chappell is Warner Music's publishing side. Now, they do not currently have a deal with Universal Music Publishing Group. I believe they're trying to get a contract signed with them. They also have deals with smaller publishing companies that are for like smaller artists, and then and also like independent artists. They also have a deal with smaller publishing groups and independent publishing groups. These will allow them to have a wider selection of songs that they can play. Now, when TikTok first started, they were already able to use the previous Musical.ly contracts that were still going. Now, I believe last year is when most of the Musical.ly contracts are finished. I believe they still have some Musical.ly contracts with some of the smaller publishing groups that are still going on now, but TikTok is kind of in a situation where they need to negotiate with the big labels and all of the publishing groups in order for them to not lose all of the music, and then, now no one wants to be on TikTok. I haven't seen anything about the specific contract that they have, but I do believe they have a blanket licensing deal with the record labels and the music publishing companies. So a blanket licensing deal is just like a regular licensing deal, but now instead of like one or two songs, it's a whole catalog of songs. So a blanket licensing deal with Warner Music will get you all of the music in Warner Music's catalog to your disposal. This allows them to have a vast catalog of music that their users can pick from. With them trying to currently negotiate with the big labels and the publishing companies, the record labels and the music publishing companies are trying to negotiate for more money, because when TikTok first started, they didn't have no ads. They had some in-app purchases, but they didn't really have any ads. So at the time, with the Musical.ly contract, they was just kind of keeping everything the same. But now TikTok still has the in-app purchases, and now it does advertising. So they are increasing their revenue for the year, which is allowing record labels and music publishing companies to be like, hey, you making some more money, you need to give us some more money, because the ability you guys have to play our music is inherently boosting your app. So we should get a better deal out of this so we can pay our artists more, we can get more money, and our songwriters can get more money. Now that we know what TikTok is and how TikTok is able to have a whole catalog of music on their app, let's talk about the artist. The artists are the one I really want to focus on, because it's their songs that are being played on TikTok, and they're the ones who would be the most affected and probably overlooked out of this whole situation. Having their songs on TikTok would usually mean, if they are backed by a label, if they already have like a label contract and are with a publishing company, they are able to get royalties. Now, I mentioned the two rights that each song has. Now, if you give permission to someone to use your song or whatever, you get royalties based off of that person using your music. So you can get royalties from CD sales, you can get royalties from streaming, you can get royalties from an avenue of different places. But another one of the good things of TikTok for artists is that you can now get royalties from TikTok. Now, one of the problems of putting your music onto TikTok is how TikTok decides to give you a payout. With like streams, you get a payout based on how many times people stream your music. You get a payout off of that. Now with TikTok, you get a payout for how many people use your song, which sounds good, because if 100 people use your song, whatever is the amount that gets times by how much people post your song will, be times by 100. Problem with that is that method of calculating payment is not entirely fair, because TikTok doesn't really show views on like how much views each TikTok gets. So, maybe 100 people might have used your song, but the collective amount of view that your song has gotten could have given you more money. But since they calculate on how much people post it, you get that amount of money. One person can post, and that post can get like 1,000,000 views, but you will still only get paid for the one post, not how much views that post gets. So it's good, but I feel like it could be better. Now, I am not no music business expert, but to me, I feel like record labels would probably be trying to negotiate, like, instead of how much people post, it'd be like a percentage of the views, they get would be a payout to them. Or maybe like, if this post gets 1,000,000 views, we get $3,000 or something. You know what I mean? Like that kind of equivalent, as opposed to just if one person makes a post, you get X amount of money. With that said, that brings me on to one of the big benefits of TikTok, which is the exposure artists can get. So, I mean, if you're a big artist, I'm talking Rihanna, Beyonce, Ariana Grande, Drake, you're not too pressed about or like getting exposure on TikTok, because you're already a major pop star. You don't truly, I mean, you can get bigger, but like, how much bigger can you really get? But with like medium-sized artists and smaller artists, this could be a game changer for, your career. There are about 20 million, last time I checked, users on TikTok. And that's just on TikTok. You know, with all social media sites, someone might post something on one social media site and it ends up on three other social media sites. So there's 20 something million people on TikTok. But if that one TikTok gets onto Twitter, that's adding another, maybe another million, or maybe another 100,000 people watching, listening to your song. So that can truly be a game changer for smaller or medium sized artists. Let's take Little Nas X. He was, on SoundCloud, I believe. I think he started maybe putting his song on TikTok, or somebody else put his song on TikTok, and that blew up. Now look where he's at. He now has a deal with Columbia Records, has an EP out, known all over the world, basically. Like something like that, where you start off as a little baby small artist, and all of a sudden millions of people are listening to 15 seconds of your song, and now they're going on Spotify and listening to it, and they're going on here and listening to it, and now you have a record deal, you making more music, and it's usually in such a short amount of time, especially with the demographics of TikTok. You might have your core audience that you're looking for, and you're looking for 20 something year olds who live in Washington and like pop punk. Now you can get those, but you move your demographics, you get your song onto TikTok and it starts blowing up. Now you're reaching people who are 15, you're reaching people who are 40, and also maybe like that genre, or maybe like that style, and they're like, wait a minute, the song's actually kind of good. And then now you're adding more people to your audience and getting your music out to different people that maybe wouldn't have sought it out otherwise. Though the slight downside of being a smaller artist and trying to get exposure on TikTok is sometimes you'll end up putting your music onto TikTok for free. Like you might end up not getting the royalties and stuff like that, because some smaller artists don't have a record deal. They might have like a publishing group that they're associated with, but they won't have someone really vouching for them to get their royalties. So sometimes you just kind of put your music out there for free and just kind of hope for the exposure of it to get you to places that can get you money. Kind of like an internship. With an internship, you're not getting paid. You're just kind of doing these things essentially for free, but you're hoping that it will lead you to opportunities that will get you more money. It's kind of how smaller artists are working on TikTok. Sometimes it can be good. Sometimes it could kind of be like, the Little Nas X's of the world, where, you start off there and you get yourself a record label. Sometimes it could just be, you start off there and doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't go as far as maybe you would have liked it to go. However, if you're like maybe a medium-sized artist and you do have label backing, what you can do is have your, maybe if your manager or the label would like to pay, influencers on TikTok to do your song, you may be paying, an influencer a small fee, but the return you would get on your investment essentially would be more, because you're getting it to a bigger audience, and which means you're allowing more people to see it, more people wanting to create it. So then that means you get more royalties, and it kind of benefits everybody. Along with the exposure, streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music are now starting to create playlists that are solely based on TikTok songs. So maybe a bunch of people hear your song on TikTok, but maybe they forgot the name or whatever. Or if they're like, I feel like I just want to listen to TikTok songs today, they're able, instead of trying to find you on Spotify or Apple Music, they're able to just search TikTok in their preferred streaming service, and most of the time a playlist will pop up, whether it be by other people, or I believe TikTok has their own dedicated playlist that they made on Spotify and Apple Music, and it'll give you like the trending songs, it'll give you the featured songs, and the songs that are kind of just starting to blow up on the site. This is so beneficial to artists, because now they won't just kind of be stuck on TikTok. It allows users to go onto the streaming service and support them even further, because they might listen to the one song that they hear on TikTok and then go, I really like this artist, and go search through your whole discography, and then now you're getting more royalties, and more, fans associated to you, which is more money. And even if, some artists don't care about the money, it's just getting more people, more eyes onto the music that you make, and you growing your fan base to where you can be bigger and get your message and music out to more people. Another kind of downside to having your music on TikTok is, like I said, if you're not a big artist, there's no guarantee that people will continue to remember you once your phase has kind of died out on TikTok. So, for example, if your song started a TikTok challenge or dance trend, once that dance trend kind of dies down or something else gets real poppin' and everybody moves to that, there's no guarantee that people will remember you once that kind of phase is over, because TikTok is based on having short attention spans. Your potential fans can now have a short attention span, and if they don't engage with your music while it's still popular on TikTok, it could come to a point where they forget, and now not maybe people aren't going to your Spotify as much, and you're not getting as much streams and engagement past the time of when your song was hot and popping. But artists continue to upload kind of songs on there, and they try to start trends. This can be a way to kind of keep your name, your discography in people's minds, so that way you're not in a place where you're kind of like a one-hit wonder. It's a blessing, but it can also be a curse of, like, you have your little hot 15 minutes of fame, and then now no one remembers you, and the only way you get more engagement and streams is if someone does, like, remember this trend on TikTok, and maybe that way you can get your streams back up again. But it's like a give and take. You win some and you lose some. So now that we said all of those things, is TikTok's relationship with music labels and artists a good thing? I think yes. I think it's a good thing because it's another stream of income that can go to artists, and another way their music can be really put out into the world. As with everything, it can definitely screw over some artists. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of publishing companies that are trying to sue TikTok right about now because they don't believe they're legally licensing some of the songs. TikTok is a fairly recent app. Like, I mean, it's only been kind of out for at least 2 years ish, so it's still gonna have some hiccups. It's definitely still got to work through a ridiculous amount of things. But if they work with the music industry executives and artists, this can actually be something very beneficial for the whole industry. TikTok is apparently, from what I've seen, supposed to be releasing a streaming service called Rezo or something. I believe that's the name. They're testing it out in India, and I think that's the name in India. And I think they're trying to see if they want to bring it to, like, the United States and globally. But if they do that, that's also another way where they can entice their TikTok users to go use their streaming service, so that way if they're using their song on TikTok, they might want to go listen to your song on their streaming service. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Sabrina Talks. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little bit about the music industry. Let me know in the comments down below if you use TikTok, if you listen to any of them TikTok songs outside of TikTok. Let me know. Stay tuned, because next week is June. So since it's Pride Month, I'll be kind of talking about some things in the LGBTQ plus community and reviewing some movies that kind of are in that community. So I hope you are excited, and I hope you stay tuned for those videos. I'm not going to say follow me on TikTok because I really only downloaded the app for this video, and though I'll probably keep it, I'm not posting any TikToks. So thanks so much for watching it, guys, again, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.